Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Mixed Texan Report. Have a lot to talk about today. First, I want to get started with Kanye West. What is going on with this guy? It's from Breitbart. Kanye West to launch Yeezy porn site with Stormy Daniels' ex. What in the world? I thought this guy was a man of God. Let's check this out. It says rapper and entrepreneur Kanye West is looking at broadening out his business interests with a dedicated Yeezy porn studio, working alongside adult film producer Mike Moz, who used to be married to Stormy Daniels, the infamous Stormy Daniels. Yes, the reports. TMZ reports the move marks 5 years since he admitted he had an addiction to lewd and salacious material. The 46-year-old said he watched pornography too often, even claiming adult entertainment destroyed my family, and then marriage to Kim Kardashian. Yes. So this porn addiction destroyed his marriage and his family. He says, "For me, Playboy was my gateway to a full-on pornography addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at the age of 5, and it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life. From age 5 until now, having to kick the habit and it just presents itself in the open like it's okay, and I stand up to say, no, it's not okay." In 2022, Adidas launched an investigation into West after former Yeezy staffers accused him of misconduct, alleging he would watch porn during professional meetings and share lewd photographs of his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Wow, that is totally unacceptable. You don't show lewd pictures of your spouse. That is supposed to be between the two of you. For him to do this in meetings and things like that, look, it's crazy. I get it, you're proud to be married to Kim Kardashian, but there needs to be some privacy among the two of you. The outlet notes were told Kanye and co have been talking about building an entire Yeezy porn studio, which would be a part of a broader adult entertainment division at the parent Yeezy company. Yeah, now he's expanding his horizons to pornography. I'm not surprised because this guy's comes off as a little crazy, a little bipolar, in my opinion. One day he's religious and he's winning these awards, as you can see here. If you're listening, if you're watching this on Spotify video, Kanye West wins first gospel Grammy for Jesus is King. It's back in 2021. It says Kanye won his first gospel Grammy and his first honor from the Recording Academy in 8 years for his Jesus is King album. But he also said this a few years ago. I think this was a few years ago.
Like, one of the big topics right now is all of the pedophilia advertisement. And my take on that is, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently, and there's another place where it says, let me get out my phone. I can really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible. The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter. And
you see, for one, he looks crazy with his mask over this, covering his face.
You're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia. So people will engage in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also. Let's bank it all in. It's very simple. We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay, powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 67.
Crazy stuff. Crazy. I just wanted to share that because it caught my attention when I saw that he was getting into this, because he's flip-flopping on so many things. It seems like he's gone to the deep end. I don't know. But moving on from Kanye West, I want to move on to the 2024 election and what's going on with that, with the polling data. Check this out.
Majority of swing state voters, Matt, see worsening economic conditions in the coming months. So that doesn't spell optimism for the Biden camp. Less than 1 in 5 respondents say they expect inflation and interest rates to be lower by the end of the year. And then more than 3/4 say that Biden is responsible for how they feel about the economy, which is in a very good mood. And more than half said that he is very responsible.
Now, see, a lot of people are blaming Biden for what's going on with the economy. GDP numbers just came out, and we have slowed down to 1.6% and an expected 2.4%. So the economy is slowing. And this is an example of Bidenomics. You have gas prices through the roof. You have mortgage rates through the roof. I want to hear what Trump had to say about this.
Very big things have happened. As you probably have heard, some very big things have happened, but the biggest seems to be that the GDP just announces all the way down to 1.6%, and it's heading south. It's going to get worse. Gas prices in California were just also announced at $7.60. Gasoline is going way up. Energy costs are going way up. And the stock market is, in a sense, crashing. The numbers are very bad. This is Bidenomics. It's catching up with him. It's lucky that it's catching up before he leaves office as opposed to after he leaves office. But this is Bidenomics. It's destroying our country at the border, destroying our country with other countries. They no longer respect the United States. I think the dollar's in tremendous trouble in terms of currency. This is going to be the standard, and it's going to be the standard with me. With Biden, you're going to lose. The dollar is the standard. That'll be like losing the biggest war we've ever lost. And it's a shame, but it's all the way down to 1.6, and I'll tell you, nobody thought that would be possible.
Yeah, 1.6% GDP growth. Not good. Says when President Trump left office, the national average for regular gas was $2.39 a gallon. Today it's 52% higher. I can't even remember the last time it was under $3 a gallon. I used to use premium gas in my car, and it's right now, here in Texas where I live, $4 a gallon. So I'm paying $4 a gallon to put gas in my car. I don't like that. I miss the days of $2.50 gas, $2 a gallon. Those are the great, that's reasonable. You know, we know things go up over time. We're not going to get 87 cents or $1.17 a gallon gas, but $2.50 I think is reasonable, and people do not mind paying that. When you start getting to the high 350s and 4, that's when it becomes ridiculous. But even though the polling looks good for Trump, there is a cause for concern before we dig into this polling in the swing states. Biden is losing the enthusiasm gap to Trump for sure, and Trump is ahead in a lot of polling right now. But the thing is, people who are interested in this election is at 64%, an all-time low. Now, if you look at 2020, that was 77%. You had the pandemic going on, riots, it was crazy. You had record vote turnout that year, and it was crazy. But then 2016, 69%. April 2012, 67%. 2008, I'm not surprised. They had Obama running for the first time. First African-American, black president. 74%. So enthusiasm was high. And obviously it went down in 2012. Mitt Romney was not very popular. Obama didn't have a great first term. And then, but 64% is a problem. Even though Trump is winning by 22 points for those who didn't vote in 2020 or 2022. So there are likely people that are going to come out and vote for Trump who never voted before. Biden is, for people who voted in 2020 and 2022, Biden is up by 9%. Now, that's a cause for concern, because can Trump motivate enough people to get out there and vote? I know a lot of people have fatigue with Trump and Biden. There are people on that out there, but Trump has a huge following. 74 million votes, record for a sitting president in 2020. You see everywhere he goes, this guy draws a crowd. Now, people can like the guy and be enthused by him, but are they going to come out and vote? Do people really care enough to vote? That's the thing, is you have to drive turnout. You can have 30,000 people show up to a rally and people say they love you, but are they going to come and vote? Are they just so disengaged and concerned with their own lives? And there's nothing wrong with that, that they're just don't want anything to do with politics. They like the guy Trump, but you know what? I have better things to do. I have to work. I have to take care of my kids soccer game, and I'll just skip the election. A lot of people feel like it doesn't matter, but it absolutely does matter. So let's check out the polling from 6 swing states, the 7 swing states. This is from Bloomberg Morning Consultant poll. Post Millennial posted this. Trump leads Biden in 6 swing states, trails by just 2 points in Michigan. A new poll found that Donald Trump leads Joe Biden in 6 of 7 key 2024 battleground states, while Biden leads by a slim margin in just 1. The poll found that Trump leads in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, while Biden leads in Michigan. Trump received 49% to 42 in Arizona. In Georgia, he's up by 6, 49 to 43. Nevada and North Carolina, he leads by 8 and 10%. In Arizona, he's up 47 to 46. And 48 to 44 in Wisconsin. Looks like there might have been a mistake because it says he's up 49% in Arizona, 49 to 42. Then again, it says 47 to 46. Must be talking about Pennsylvania, I believe. It says Biden holds just a 2-point lead in Michigan with 47% to 45. Some of the shine in the State of the Union address has worn off. People are really tying Bidenomics and their perception of the economy to the inflation rate. This is from Matt Monday, senior manager of Morning Consultant. The majority of swing state voters said that economic conditions will get worse by the end of the year. 51% of all swing state voters said overall the U.S. economy would get worse. 55% said the inflation rate would get worse. And 50% said borrowing costs would get worse under what could be the last year of the Biden administration. This is a poll done of nearly 5,000 people, registered voters, in all 7 of these states. It looks good. Polling data looks good for Trump. And barring any shenanigans, free and fair election, it would be a landslide based on polling what we're seeing on the ground. But you have to get out there and vote. That's the thing. But as Trump is in New York for his case, and he can't go to the Supreme Court to hear the immunity case, he stopped and did some campaigning in NYC again, this time talking to construction workers. Let's check it out. Yeah, you see hundreds of people there to see Trump. This is a smart move because while he cannot be out on the campaign trail in other places, and he's tied up in New York, you might as well make a play for New York City and make a dent there, do some damage. Let's check out some more video.
Close in New York, I understand, and we're leading in the country by a lot. Poll just came out a little while ago, as you saw yesterday, that we're up in every swing state and up by a lot in every swing state. So I think we're going to do very well, and we're going to make a play for New York. They said, I just heard there was a very good poll came out. Normally, a Democrat will win New York. Biden is the worst president in history, and we have some very bad people here, but we have the greatest people, and they're right behind me. And they all want us to run, and we're gonna run very hard in New York. New York, we have a good chance of winning New York, in my opinion, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna give it a shot. Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. They've taken my constitutional right away with a gag order. That's all it is. It's election interference. This whole thing is election interference. So the polls have just come out, and I just got another sample. We're leading every swing state by a lot, and we're leading the nation by a lot. He's the worst president in the history of our country. He makes Jimmy Carter look great. Jimmy Carter is very happy because his presidency was brilliant by comparison. But this is the worst president we've ever had. He's destroying our country. Close the borders. You can do it in one phone call. You can close the borders. Close up the borders, Joe. Our country's going to hell.
Yeah, you might as well take advantage of the opportunity while you're there. Find other ways to campaign. This is where he's smart. His campaign manager is doing a great job. Much better than 2020. Even better than 2016. Make stops at these places, at these restaurants or wherever he's going to, and talk to the people directly. These bodegas, I believe it is, that he went to, and talk to construction workers, talk to the blue collar guys, and see how they feel. There was a video I saw of one union guy saying that traditionally they're Democrats, but they're patriots, and they're tired of the inflation, and they like how things went under Trump. And we're seeing this across the country, so it's important for him to get out the vote. He has to get 80 million votes, in my opinion. He has to come out and get the bare minimum 74 million like he did last time. But you have to get people engaged, and he's doing that. But, yeah, I mean, it may not show up in the polls directly with people that are interested in the election, 64%. So that is where I'm worried, is that enough people will not show up to vote. Then we'll be stuck with Biden another 4 years, sadly. But here's something else I found tied to the border crisis and Joe Biden. Californians are buying up guns after Border Patrol starts dumping thousands of migrants on streets. Let's check it out.
California residents are purchasing guns in droves over concerns about the massive amounts of migrants being released onto local streets. We visited Firearms Unlimited California, a store in El Cajon, an area right outside of San Diego, which is seeing those migrants getting dropped off. The store was packed with people on a Friday afternoon who are buying guns and ammunition over concerns about their security, with more migrants wandering the streets, going to the airports, and any local areas near their homes. San Diego has become a huge hub for illegal migrant crossings as states like Texas seal off their southern border with Mexico as they try to deter illegal crossings. California has major gaps in areas along the border wall, and migrants have been streaming through. Border Patrol agents in the San Diego sector during the week ending on February 4th saw an average of 1,200 migrant crossings each day, while areas of the southern border in Texas saw just a few hundred, marking a huge shift in the illegal crossings. Keith Carnevale, one of the customers of the store, talked to the Post about how he decided to arm his entire family over the border issue. He said, quote, "I don't think it's just the people that are coming over to try to find work. I think we have a lot of hostile people that are coming over with ill will, ill intent that will potentially cause chaos." Roughly 125,000 migrants have been released by Border Patrol onto the streets.
That right there. People are afraid. And then there was a poll that was done recently, and 90% of Republicans said they're afraid of criminals coming across the border, and 69% of Democrats. That's a lot. It was an average on both sides is extremely high. I wish there were more among Democrats, but a lot of them just don't care. But 69% is a lot, no matter what way you look at it. So even Democrats are concerned with this problem. And who was the guy who had a secure border? It wasn't Biden, it was Trump. He could fix that today. He always makes excuses like, give me the power from the Congress needs to give me the power. No, Biden, you have the power. You undid multiple executive orders under Trump, which kept the border secure. You undid that. So as easily as you can undo that, you can undo your undoings and put those policies back in place. But he won't. He refuses to do so. And I saw a story where Border Patrol or the federal government took money from DHS to do environmental cleanup. That money that was supposed to go to building a wall went to environmental cleanup or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Complete and total BS, if you ask me. Yeah, but I want to move on to Tennessee. Did you see this? Tennessee passes bill letting teachers carry guns at schools. The left is freaking out, as you would imagine. Check this out from the Post Millennial. The Tennessee legislature passed a bill on Tuesday that will allow teachers to carry concealed guns on school grounds. The idea being that they can protect students and themselves from mass shooters. The bill passed in a 68 to 28 vote. Protesters filled the gallery at the State House, perhaps some of the same ones who protested for trans rights after the trans school shooter Audrey Hale massacred 3 children and 3 staff members at the Covenant School just a year ago. Interesting. Protests have been the norm for this bill, and some students skipped school to protest. Teachers who opt to carry guns in school will have to be approved, and their identities would only be known to the administration. Parents will not be told if their children's teacher was carrying a firearm in class. To take part in the program, teachers would have to have gun permits as well as undergo background and mental health checks. They would also be required to take 40 hours of training to make sure they were up to speed. And see, I read some of the comments on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, I have no training." The teachers, "I have no training. I don't know how to use a gun. I'm not going to try to use the gun to stop. That's not going to be the first thing on my mind." Blah blah blah. Well, look, this is not just handing a gun out to any teacher that wants one without any training. This is their requirements. 40 hours of training. So you have to train to know how to use it. And it's not like everybody's going to know. Let's say there's a school of 100 teachers. Maybe 7 of them will have guns. The thing is, and I saw this the other night, somebody was saying that it's good because the shooter won't know if a teacher has a gun. The thing is, they won't know who has one and who doesn't. You could have a hallway full of 20 classrooms in a hallway, for an example, and you don't know which 2 or 3 or 4 may have one. So why would you take that risk? You could have teachers walking down the hallways who are armed. You won't know. It's to let the intruder know, or the psycho, the mass murderer know, to make him think twice. Maybe I shouldn't do this because I might get taken out before I'm able to complete my agenda. I don't want to get shot or taken, and possibly killed or injured and be taken to jail before I carry out my agenda. But of course, Democrats are freaking out. They staged a die-in. Yes. Tennessee House staff. Well, this is from Robbie Starbuck. It said left-wing activists, including Rep. Justin Jones, staged a die-in and were screaming like lunatics after the bill passed. Let's check this out. You see the people laying on the floor, staging a die-in over this bill. Tennesseans don't want this, holding up signs. It's crazy. Somebody has a sign, armed teachers with fully funded schools, not guns. Okay, so what is their solution? What is their solution to protect children? I mean, I don't know. It's funny how these people are anti-gun, but then the lunatics are allowed to. You have these places that are gun-free zones, but the lunatics always manage to get a gun inside. That's the thing I don't understand. Why law-abiding citizens are not allowed to carry guns in certain places, but the lunatics don't care. They do it anyway. A sign's not going to stop them. Not going to say, "Oh, gun-free zone, not going there." No, the schools are soft targets, which is why they go. But I like that schools are hardening We saw it here in Texas with the bill passed to allow armed guards to have armed guards in every school, and I think that's fantastic. Then we're seeing this in Tennessee because you have to protect children. And I don't know, the fastest way to do it is to harden the schools, is to have a line of defense. Before we can get into the mental health stuff and all that, and all that, we have to have a first line of defense, which is harden the schools. Armed guards, armed teachers, that are people that are trained to use it in the event of something happening. Very tragic. So I'm on board with this from Tennessee. But of course, you're going to have lunatics protesting this nonsense. But yeah, I think this is a great story right here. But I'm going to finish off with Tennessee. We're going to stay in Tennessee. Check this out. Transgender Tennessee woman sues over state's refusal to change the sex designation on her license. Of course. This is from Associated Press. A transgender Tennessee woman sued the state's Department of Safety and Homeland Security on Tuesday after officials refused to change the sex on her driver's license to match her identity. The lawsuit was filed in Davidson County, Chancery Court in Nashville under the Swedum, can't pronounce that, Jane Doe by the American Civil Liberties Union. Of course, ACLU. It claims the department acted illegally by updating its policies without following the state's Uniform Administrative Procedures Act, which requires public notice and a public comment before an administrative rule is adopted. The department previously permitted a sex change to the sex designator on a Tennessee driver license with a statement from a doctor that necessary medical procedures to accomplish that the change in gender are complete. The policy changed after the legislature passed a law last year defining sex throughout Tennessee code as a person's immutable biological sex as determined by anatomy and genetics existing at the time of birth. Yes, this is it. I'm okay. I love common sense. You were born a man. You're a man. You're born a woman. You're a woman. You don't even have all this confusion going on around here with this identifying as cats and dogs. There's a video on my YouTube channel playing a video about that where showing kids that dogs can identify as cats, basically saying you can identify as whatever you want. You have to accept that. It is crazy, but we're going to see a lot of pushback from stuff like this. But in order to get some kind of sanity back in our country, we have to have it happen on the state level. States have to take charge, and then we're seeing that happening in Texas and Tennessee and Florida, leading the way on stuff like this. Even in places like Idaho, they're getting things done as well. Which is why I love the fact that we have states' rights and states kind of govern themselves and make their own laws and push back against radicalism. But all right, guys, I'm going to leave this show right there. I want to thank you for tuning in, if you're on Spotify or YouTube, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Take care. Or on Amazon, wherever you listen to this on, iHeartRadio. Thanks for tuning in. All right, take care.